The following program was recorded at ARC Advisory Group's annual World Industry Forum in Orlando, Florida. I'm pleased to welcome Editor-in-Chief of Supply Chain Brain, Russell Goodman.
Joining us for a conversation today on using AutoID technologies for improving supply chain work processes is Craig Casto, Global Leader, AutoID Expertise Center at Dow Chemical Company. Craig, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Russell.
Craig, describe for us, if you will, the major supply chain challenges and complexities that you face there at Dow Chemical.
Well, the biggest issue is, since we're such a global company, a number of different market-facing products, they all have different uniqueness about it, the movement in the supply chain. Mm-hmm. So consequently, we have to have often different variations of some of our supply chain solutions to address those particular needs.
Mm-hmm. Well, walk us through how you're using AutoID or wireless technologies to impact the supply chain there.
Sure. We set out in 2004, 2005 and came up with a corporate strategy for the deployment of RFID, GPS, and barcode AutoID type technologies. Those have been aligned with our corporate strategic direction and related to supply chain safety, security, responsible care efforts. And as a result, we've been able to leverage the technologies to make sure that we're in alignment with those strategic goals as a company.
Well, you just mentioned barcodes, RFID, GPS, et cetera. Can you break those down and explain for us which ones work best, in the applications that you need?
The approach we've taken has been somewhat technology agnostic, in that we're using the appropriate technology that supplies the best value case, the best business benefits for the deployment. As an example, if we're tracking small bottles of chemicals, herbicides, agricultural chemicals, the solution might be better for an RFID tag or a barcode. But in the case of a rail car, the solution might be a GPS tracking device on that rail car, or a global shipment from the U.S. to China in an intermodal container. Again, a GPS solution will work better.
Let's talk about the need for monitoring the condition of various assets. How are you combining these technologies with sensors in order to do that?
Sure, good question. A lot of the technologies today allow us so much more information than we've ever had available. A good example is on those intermodal container shipments that we're shipping globally. We have sensors that monitor temperature inside the container, humidity inside the container, the security of the container itself, and also vibration and shock. So if something happens to that container while it's in transit, maybe on the high seas, we can actually get an immediate transmission from the GPS device on that container that says it's exceeded the parameters for maybe a humidity range or a temperature range. So lots of invaluable information that the latest technology provides.
Safety and security and brand protection. Now, these are some major concerns in a number of industries, but certainly there's got to be something that you're concerned about there at Dow. So walk us through how these technologies that you're talking about are helping you comply in those various areas.
Sure. The initial focus of our overall strategy was to address our highest risk products. In our vernacular, that's toxic inhalation or TIH products. A good example of that is for a number of years, since the early 90s, we've been tracking our rail cars around the country using RFID tags. And the way that's set up is the tag passes an RFID reader that the railroads have established, and we get a message back several times a day as to the location of those cars. But for our toxic inhalation hazard products, that tag passing by one of those readers wasn't sufficient. So we've implemented for that particular rail car fleet a GPS tracking device that's a duplex device, meaning that it's capable of not only waking up at certain intervals during the day and sending a message with the lat-long positions as well as the sensor information, but we can also ping that car on demand and get a response back within 15 minutes indicating what, where the location of the car is and the sensor information. So that becomes important for, in the event since 9/11, for any type of disaster that might occur in the country.
It occurs to me that you are generating, no doubt, a tremendous amount of information, a tremendous amount of data. So how are you making sense of all of that?
Well, one of the best ways, we ship millions of shipments as a global company a year, over 2.5 million. And being able to track each one of those shipments is extremely difficult. So one of the solutions that we've approached is to integrate these different modal tracking solutions, whether it's rail cars or bottles or intermodal containers, and we integrate it into one central site that has a rules engine that's built into it. And we can build in business rules that when violated will generate an alert. So as an example, on our rail car tracking, we have a sensor that monitors dome openings. And if the car is in transit and someone tampers with that car, opens a dome, it'll send us an alert. So that's information that is certainly important to the security of the car and is readily available now through the use of these technologies.
Now that's an example of some real-time information that you absolutely have to have. But overall, how important is real-time information to the Dow supply chain?
Well, what we've found is that the additional information that these tracking solutions can provide actually help us address other business issues. It may be that a container gets off course and is stored in a port for several days, so our inventory costs go up as a result. And if we can have the visibility of where those restock shipments are, or customer shipments, then we can actually lower inventories and consequently save money. So it's not only a security aspect, but there's operational aspects and benefits that these tracking technologies can provide.
Well, now I want to get into that a little bit more. You mentioned visibility. Clearly that's important. But translating that into dollars, what are the business benefits, if you will, that you are reaping from the technologies that we're discussing here?
Well, a good example is demurrage costs on this equipment. If we can improve the tracking of the equipment itself, we can better manage our demurrage costs on equipment that we lease. Certainly fleet utilization. We're using a lot of our long-term assets have GPS tracking devices on them now. And we've been able to actually lower the number of units in that particular fleet as a result and save money. So there's lots of operational aspects that are available through these technologies.
Going forward, do you see an expansion of the use of this type of technology?
When we did our strategy in the 2004-2005 timeframe, we brought together a group of 100 different Dow business leaders from across the globe, representing different functions: construction, maintenance, manufacturing, different Dow businesses, Dow Automotive, Dow Agricultural Science, Ag Science. And as a result, we surfaced 450 different areas that they felt would add significant value by deploying these technologies. So we are in the process of working that list. We originally rationalized that list into 50 top projects, and we're almost at the end of our 10-year period since we started on this journey, and we've had tremendous success.
It's a mighty ambitious project, though, that you've got going forward. Best of luck to you. Thanks for meeting with us today, Craig.
Thank you very much.
That was Craig Casto, Dow Chemical Company, speaking to us today about auto ID technologies and how they can improve supply chain work processes. Thank you for watching.